In this video, we're going to be identifying the factors of something called a quadratic. So by the end of this video, you should be able to identify the factors of something like 8x squared minus 14x plus 3. Our end goal is to identify the factors of something that looks like that. Right now, we're just going to take a look at what it means to be a factor of something. So we're going to look at kind of a different definition than maybe you're used to what it means to be a factor. So is 4 a factor of 12? How do we know 4 is a factor of 12? One way to find out would be to take 12, divide it by 4, and if you get a whole number, you know that 4 is a factor of 12. If you divided 12 by 4 and got a decimal, 4 would not be a factor of 12. So 12 divided by 4 is 3. Notice that is a whole number, not a decimal. Therefore, 4 is a factor of 12. All right, is 5 a factor of 20? And if so, how do you know? Again, we can take 20 and we can divide it by 5. So we take that and we get 4. 4 is a whole number, so is 5 a factor of 20? Yes, because 20 divided by 5 is a whole number, not a decimal. So based on that, if you divide a number by its factor, do you ever get a decimal? The answer is no. You never get a decimal if you divide a number by its factor. So the summary is, when you divide a number by its factor, you never get a decimal. Notice I'm hitting that point over and over again because it's important. So our new thought is, if we divide something that looks like this, 3x squared minus 2x minus 5, by one of its factors, you should not get any decimals. We're going to check this in a calculator. So go ahead and get your calculators open. And we're going to go through these steps to check to see if 3x minus 5 is a factor of 3x squared minus 2x minus 5. So first we get our calculators. Let's turn them on. And then you go to your y equals screen. So the y equals screen again is in the upper left hand corner of your calculator. And then we're going to type out 3x squared minus 2x minus 5. So 3, notice I did parentheses first above the 8, 3x next to the green alpha, squared, we hit the exponent button above the divide by button, squared is a 2, press the right arrow key to get out of the exponent, subtract 2x, x again next to the green alpha, subtract 5. Notice I'm using the subtraction above the plus. Parentheses. Divided by. Now we're going to divide by the 3x minus 5 to see if it is a factor. So whatever you're checking to see whether or not it's a factor, that goes on the bottom, that goes in the denominator. Since we're checking to see if 3x minus 5 is a factor, it's going to go in the denominator after the slash. So divided by parentheses 3x subtract 5 close parentheses. Alright, we should see that in our calculator now. If we hit the second above the green alpha, it's a blue second button, and then hit graph, you'll notice that all of our y1 values, no matter where we can go all the way down this value. Our y1 values are all whole numbers. We have no decimals. So since they're all whole numbers, that means that, if there are no decimals, they're all whole numbers, that means that 3x minus 5 is a factor of 3x squared minus 2x minus 5, and that's all you have to do. So here's a problem for you to try on your own. Go ahead and press pause, work it out, and press play when you're ready to see the answer. Alright, so I've gone ahead and typed out the equation into my y1 and divided it, so the 4x squared plus 5x minus 6 divided by the x plus 2 in parentheses. Then I go to my table, and if any of my y values are decimals, I know that it is not a factor. Since they're all whole numbers, notice there are no decimals, that means that x plus 2 is a factor.